Hi, everybody. Good morning. How are you guys doing? I hope everybody's doing well. I haven't been live for a while. I haven't done a video in a while, and I'm hoping to change that. I'm going live today regarding my abdominoplasty and panniculectomy surgery that I had 2 weeks ago today. And I'm going to talk today about my surgery, what I had to do to get insurance approval, what my process was, and what led me here to want to do this in the first place. For those of you that know me and have followed me, both at my other YouTube channel, which is Kristen Behind the Crime Door, you know that for the last 2 years, I have been on a weight loss journey that started in July of 2022 when I was diagnosed with diabetes and I was over 400 pounds. I was suffering from severe asthma. I had blood pressure issues. I had issues with mobility. I was not able to walk probably more than 15 feet without losing my breath completely. I had gotten so bad with my left knee that I could hardly put any weight on it at all. And I had gotten to a point where I had to use a moving cart or rolling cart in the stores, electric cart, whatever, and a wheelchair. And things were really heading south for me. I was not doing well. And so I embarked upon my weight loss journey, and I ended up deciding to have bariatric surgery. So I started that process in August of 2022 and met with the surgeon and was given a green light that I would be perfect candidate to have a sleeve gastrectomy. And I was a little disappointed because I kind of wanted to have a gastric bypass. My feeling was that I thought I would be more successful with the gastric bypass. But the surgeon didn't feel that that was going to be true because I do have some stomach issues where I've had problems in the past with ulcers, and he did not want me to go that route. So with that being said, that was what we decided upon. And I started out on the journey to try and get a handle on my diabetes. They put me on metformin, and it made me deathly sick. I hated taking it. I just hated how the metformin made me feel, and I didn't really feel like it was really doing much. And this was through my PCP, my general practitioner. So I contacted our endocrinology office locally and went to see an endocrinologist. The endocrinologist that I ended up seeing was amazing. She listened to me. She listened to all of my weight issues that I had been experiencing and everything. And she told me that she thought I would be a perfect candidate for a drug that was new, only been around for a little over a year or so, and that they were having great success with. She said that it was called Mounjaro, trizepatide. And Mounjaro is the brand name. And she wanted to start me on it. So she started me on it the first week of December in 2022. And by August of 2023, which is when I had my surgery of my sleeve gastrectomy, I had lost 80 pounds. I went through with the sleeve gastrectomy. I that 80-pound weight loss was huge. It was absolutely huge. I spent every day, 6 days a week, because my club that I belong to isn't open 7 days a week. So I was there 6 days a week. I was going to to work out, to work out in the water. I decided that working out in the water was the best thing that I could possibly do for myself. And that's what I had been doing all of 2023. So with that and the Manjaro absolutely decreasing my appetite, taking it completely away to where I had none, I absolutely started losing the weight, and I started feeling better. And what was even more amazing were the other things, the subtle things that started to change for me. I started to notice that some of the things that I was experiencing with the diabetes, like the cramping in my feet, the creepy crawly feeling in my legs, the dry skin that was horrific on my lower extremities. I can't tell you how bad the dry skin was. I would take my leggings off, and it was over the winter time or whatever, but I would just skin would just fall out of my clothes. It was crazy how dry I was, which is a huge sign of diabetes. And all of that things started to turn around. I started to just see things were going in a really positive direction. Of course, I was being monitored. My blood sugar, the highest my A1C got was 9.8. Was when I was diagnosed, my A1C was 9.8. By the time I had my surgery in August of 2023, I believe I was down around, I want to say 7, somewhere around, my A1C was around a 7 something. So it had come down a lot, and they were very, very pleased. Over the next year, I worked out. I made sure that I was moving. As the weight started to come off and things started to feel better, I couldn't believe how good I was feeling and how amazing the cloud that I had been living in my head for so long started to lift, and I was feeling really, really good. So anyway, I decided to continue just working out in the water, and I would walk. That was my biggest thing. We have a lazy river at our club, at our health club, and I would just walk. I walked in water clear up to here. I would do calisthenics at the end of the walk, and that was pretty much what I was doing, and it was working, and things were really starting to go. Here, go to, or we get to my anniversary in 2024 of my my 1-year anniversary of my surgery, and I was so happy because I was finally under 200 pounds, and I was just amazed at how fast things had happened, how quickly I was losing, and I was at 12.5 milligrams of Manjaro. I knew at this point in time that I had a lot of excess skin on my abdomen and on my thighs. I have a lot of excess skin on my arms, as you can see, a lot of excess skin. And we won't even talk about the girls, because the girls need some work. But I have always been a very large-chested woman. I got them when I was 9.5 to 10 years of age, and I was almost overnight a C cup. And that's what I was my whole teenage years. And then after I got pregnant and had my children, things just kind of got larger up there. And as I started gaining weight, things started going crazy up top as well. And the girls just grew and grew and grew. And my chest, before I started my weight loss journey, I believe I was a G, my cup size. I think I was like 52 around 52G. And so, I had a ways to go. I was a size 30. Um, if I even would say that, because I had stopped wearing anything that had to be zipped or snapped or whatever. I was constantly in leggings or expandable pants because I couldn't find anything else to fit me. And so my depression was probably full bore. I've talked about that before on this channel. And in December of 2024, I told my husband that I was ready to meet with the surgeon. I felt comfortable enough, and that I had lost 270 pounds, and that I was at a point that even if I lost more, I wouldn't care. I couldn't live with the excess skin that I had on my abdomen anymore. I couldn't do it any longer. And so, hold on, guys. I just realized something. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. I had my other name up for my other channel. Crazy me. So anyway, I decided that I needed to reach out, figure out how I was going to go about this. So I didn't know. The group that I belong in, the weight loss support group, the bariatric support group through my hospital where I had my surgery. Of course, we had people in the group that were having this done and that had this done in the past. And so I reached out to try to find out, what was the process? Where did you go? Who did you talk to? Do I see a plastic surgeon? Do I see a general surgeon? How do I go about this? Well, there's a couple of things to know. Insurance companies do not like to pay for abdominoplasty. They consider it to be cosmetic. However, when you have had bariatric surgery and you have lost an enormous amount of weight, which I had at 270 pounds, I was considered a medical necessity. I was getting rashes, fungal infections, open sores underneath the folds of my skin, where the skin was hanging on my abdomen. And these became so bothersome, so painful, so awful. I had actually dealt with these for years and years and years. And as I was gaining this weight, while I had the weight at the high level that I was. And I had kind of learned how to live with it a little bit. But I must say, after I lost all the weight, it was horrible trying to stuff the skin in and having to wear larger clothes because the skin was there and I couldn't get the smaller clothes that I knew I would fit in if I didn't have the skin. It just became emotionally taxing, and it was because I really didn't know. I thought at my age, I'm just going to be happy to lose the weight and I won't have anything else done. That's kind of what I thought. But as I started to see what my body was telling me, I was like, I couldn't do this. I was like, Kristen, you have to get this skin removed. It's going to be better for you emotionally. It's going to be better for you physically. And you need to do this. And so I contacted 3 plastic surgeons locally. They all wanted huge retainers to even be seen for a consult. One wanted $300. And I was like, no, I'm not giving a doctor $300 to just talk to me about what I want to have done and let me know how much it's going to cost and whether or not he thinks I'm a candidate. I wasn't doing that, especially when I didn't even know if I was going to hire him. Yes, that money would have gone towards my surgery with him, but I didn't want to do it. Then I found out that none of the plastic surgeons in town accept insurance payments. everything has to be paid for in advance. And then if you want to bill your insurance and whatever, that's all fine and good. But they don't take insurance, none of them. And I was like, nope, not for me. I can't afford that. I don't have that kind of money, laying around. So I went the insurance route. I thought, I'm going to contact my insurance company. I'm going to find out from them. Loki, what are you doing? Loki, stay out of the garbage. I'm going to find out from them what I need to do. I found out it was a covered, surgery, and that it had to be medically necessary. So I made an appointment with Dr. Patel here locally through OSF Medical, OSF Surgical Group, which is the hospital that I used to work for. And the same surgical group as my bariatric surgeon. So I felt really comfortable with him. And I had heard really good things in my weight loss group about him. So I went to see him in January. January 2nd of 2025 of this year was my first appointment. And we sat down, we talked, he looked at me, and he was amazed. He told me that he was so proud of the work that I had done and everything that I had done and put into getting to where I needed to be to do this procedure. He said he thought I was a great candidate, but he would like me to wait 8 more weeks to see because I was still actively losing weight, and he wanted to see if I was going to be, I think I was like 190 pounds around then, something like that. And he wanted to see if I would lose any more. Because he said, what I don't want to do is schedule you for surgery, do the surgery, and have you lose 50 more pounds. He said, I really don't want to do that. So we waited for 2 more months. I went back in and saw him. And in March, the 1st of March, and I think it was I saw him the last week in February. And I had dropped down to 170, I think it was 176 pounds by then. And I was really comfortable with my clothes size. I was comfortable with how I was, everything, except for this skin. And I told him I couldn't wait anymore. I just could not stand it. And he said, let's do it. So we scheduled it. And we originally scheduled it for April the 20th. And he told me that, things would progress and we'd get it done. He said I would be recovering for about 4 to 6 weeks. And he told me I'm going to do an abdominoplasty. I won't know, he said, until I get in there on whether or not I have to repair your muscles, which is the abdominoplasty itself. But he said most women who've had children have separation of the abdominal muscle. And so I had 2. So he was assuming that he was going to have to do that. And he informed me on how he would do it, that it would be an incision from hip to hip, and it would be low, down below my bikini line, and that he would pull the skin up to underneath the girls, pull it all the way up, and then do the repair of whatever needed to be repaired, and then take that skin and stretch it and stretch it and stretch it and stretch it as far as he could, and then cut it off and sew it back together. And he told me, he said, you will lose your belly button. Now, I had been watching YouTube videos of women who'd had abdominoplasties, and the ones who all go to the plastic surgeons, they all kept their belly buttons. I didn't care. I didn't care if I had a belly button or not. I don't need one. He laughed. He said, none of us need one. He said, but there's a lot of people that are funny about that. And I was like, that doesn't bother me. So that's what it told me, would do. He told me that I would be wearing a binder, that I would need to get a faja, which I didn't know what a faja was, but I quickly found out. And it's a compression garment that women who have had liposuction, abdominoplasties, BBLs, Brazilian butt lifts, or panniculectomies like I had, need to wear these compression garments. They help with swelling, bruising, fluid retention. And he told me that I would have 2 drains placed during surgery. And he was very straightforward. He told me everything, and that was it. Sent me on my way. Around my anniversary was my wedding anniversary was the 15th of March. And I think it was like the week after, I got an email from his office telling me that they needed to move my surgery because he was not going to be here on the 20th of April. And I was like, oh, great. I just knew that they were going to postpone it, but they weren't. They wanted to move it up a week to the 14th of April. I quickly answered back and told them that that was absolutely fine with me. The sooner, the better. So it was scheduled for April 14th, which was 2 weeks ago today. And what I did to prepare really wasn't a whole lot. I got my protein shakes, and because I knew I wanted to make sure that I kept my protein up for healing. And I'm still taking Manjaro, and my A1C is 4.6. And I feel great. But I really wasn't concerned about eating. I wasn't concerned about any of that. I was like, I just knew that I had had my knee replaced a year ago, April. So a year ago this month, I had my knee replaced, and I did phenomenal. In fact, I didn't even finish their completed program for rehabilitation. The rehab kicked me out. I did so well, progressed so quickly, and recovered so fast that they kicked me out. And I was hoping that that was going to be the same for this surgery. So 2 weeks ago today, I went in for the surgery, and I spent 2 nights in the hospital. The surgery was on Monday. I came home on Wednesday night. So, and honestly, I'm glad I had those 2 nights in the hospital. It wasn't horrible. The feeling that I had when I woke up was unlike any way I felt waking up from any of all the other surgeries that I've ever had. I wasn't nauseous. I had no nausea from the anesthesia at all this time. So they had given me one of those patches that you put behind your ear, because I told the anesthesiologist how nauseous I get with anesthesia. And so I asked if I could try that, and he said yes. And it was awesome, you guys. It lasts for 72 hours, and it is awesome. Because I didn't have any nausea with it. I was so happy. Because that is so tough, and I was so worried about being sick at my stomach after having it done. My husband was with me when I got to my room. He was right there waiting for me, and he told me that everything had gone well, and that I had had 2 hernias repaired, and I had had the muscle repair. So immediately I knew why I felt so tight. I mean, I can't tell you how tight my stomach felt. I mean, I didn't feel swollen. I just felt tight. It was like super tight. I can't explain it. The last couple weeks, that's gotten better. The weirdest part that I have right now is that my stomach is numb. I have a huge area on the front of my stomach that is numb. I have noticed that some of that has gotten a little bit better, so I'm wondering if that will get better over time. Although I have a really good friend who had this done, and 15 years ago, and she still is numb on her stomach. So if that is something I have to live with, I have to live with that. Immediately, I don't remember anything from recovery at all. I don't remember being in the recovery room. I don't remember waking up from the surgery. I remember waking up in my room. And I was not in horrific pain. I was uncomfortable, but it wasn't horrible. And so they were giving me oxycodone for pain. And I did not like how it was feeling. I think it was the next day. I took it all that day of surgery and in through the night. And I think it was about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And I asked her if we could please get an order for something else because I couldn't stand how the oxy was making me out of my mind. I felt so out of control and just did not like how it made me feel neurologically. I just didn't. And it did great for the pain, but I just didn't like how it made me feel. And so they gave me tramadol. So I started taking tramadol, and they gave me Flexeril for a muscle relaxer. And then I had, and then I was getting alternating 3 Tylenol, extra strength Tylenol. And so I came home 2 days in the hospital, and I came home, and I had gotten I had went to one of our local thrift stores, and I found a really excellent, in good condition lift chair recliner, a lift recliner. And I bought it because I knew that I was going to need something. And I'm so glad that I have that chair, honestly. I needed it the first week for sure to help me stand up. Hey, what you chewing on there, Loki? He's gotten paper from somewhere. Can I have it? Can I have it? Can I have it, baby? Loki, let me have it. You better let me have it. Can you say hi to our friends? Can you say hi to our friends? Anyway, so, yeah, I mean, I'm glad I got the chair. So anybody that sees this and wonders if you're thinking of having this kind of a surgery, you're going to definitely need to think about that. You're going to need a recliner. You cannot sit. They don't want you laying flat at all. You need to sit like you're in a lawn chair, is kind of like they describe it, because they don't want a lot of pressure put on your abdomen. They don't want you, you want to be hunched over. Everybody that I was watching talking about this surgery said that they couldn't stand up straight. I only think I was like that for maybe a day. Honestly, I was not horribly hunched over. I've been able to stand up straight. I'm sore. I'm super sore. And it's not horribly uncomfortable. I stopped taking my pain medicine last Friday. I haven't had any, and the actual pain pills, the tramadol and the Flexeril, I stopped earlier last week, like maybe Wednesday was the last time I took it. And then I was just taking 3 Tylenol. And I haven't had to take I took 3 Tylenol once yesterday because I did have my 2 drains. I came home with both of them. They were down low in the Mons area of the pelvic region, if you guys know where I'm talking about. They shave all that, by the way. You don't have to worry. You're completely, it's all shaven. And that's where they put my drains. And so, which is quite uncomfortable, you guys. Let's face it, drains are not fun for any reason, whether they're thoracically in your chest, breasts, when you have breast surgery or whatever. Drains are terrible. But to have them down there and you're like, me, I need to be wearing underwear. I'm not this girl I'm not like some people that can just go commando and feel okay. That was not me. But in the hospital I did, because I was like, I'm not messing with it. But when I got home, I wanted to wear my underwear. And with these drains where they were, it was so hard and so uncomfortable. Last week, I think it was on Thursday, I got my first drain pulled. I got that out because it had stopped draining. um, down to like 5 mil, I think, something like that for 2 days. And so they pulled it. I wanted to get the left one out on Friday because it was also not draining much, but they wouldn't take it out. And I knew that it needed to come out, but they wouldn't take it out. So I was like, fine, whatever. It bothered me all weekend. I think the biggest thing through all of this has been the drains. That's been the most uncomfortable. It's hard to shower. It's hard to move. You have to pen them. You've got to have help holding them because you do not want to just let them hang. Yes, they're stitched in you, but at the same time, that pulls and it's uncomfortable. So I was like, whoa, I didn't want to have to go another whole weekend with this drain, but I didn't have a choice. Well, yesterday it was really bothering me. It was super uncomfortable for whatever reason. I don't know what was going on with it, but my husband finally said, here, let's take some Tylenol. You need some Tylenol. So he gave me some Tylenol, and I fell asleep. And I slept most of the afternoon. Loki slept with me. He's been amazing through all of this. He has been so good. Right by me, not wanting to leave my side much. And he slept with me. And last night, in the middle of the night, I woke up and I had this burning, weird feeling where my second drain was. I got up, I went to the bathroom. I finished going to the bathroom and I stood up and my drain fell out. I'm like, what? My drain fell out. Now, it didn't come completely out, but what happened was I looked down and where it had been sewn into me, that had moved like about this much. So I just grabbed a hold of it and pulled and it came out because I already knew that it didn't hurt to take them out because I'd had my first one taken out on Thursday and they told me it doesn't hurt. It just feels weird. So I just grabbed a hold of it and pulled and it came out and I was so happy. I'm like, yes. So I just got a piece of gauze, put a compression on it. On the site, covered it, went back to bed. And here we are. I have been out walking. I can do short spurts at the store. But I'm still super tired and I'm not as sleepy today. Last week I was so sleepy and all I wanted to do was sleep. And it was really getting old. I was like, I have been so active for the last couple of years that to just sit home and sit in a chair and take it easy and get up and do this and sit back down and get up and I was just like losing my mind. So anyway, I'm feeling really good. And I have to say that I am so happy that I did this. I'm so happy to look down and know that all of that skin that I used to see is gone. I'm happy to know that I won't have to fight with the infections and and the sores and all the other stuff that was going on because of it. And I just feel better about myself. Dr. Patel told me when we talked about me having the surgery, he said, Kristen, I can't make you perfect. And I said, I don't want to be perfect. Do you see this body? Look at this. I will never be perfect. These are my battle scars. These are reminders of where I've come. I'm not looking for perfection. I didn't want to have any of that done for that reason. And that's when he smiled and told me, he goes, you'll do fantastic with this surgery. Because I think it's all about your mindset of what you go in and what you expect. Now, the final results of this surgery can take months. I won't know what the final result is going to be probably for at least 6 to 8 months. I have a lot of swelling on my left side for whatever reason. That was more traumatized in this procedure than my right side. My right side, I hardly have any. There's hardly any swelling at all on this side of my body. This side is massive. So It's going to take a while for that to go down, and I know that. I'm wearing my binder. I have my faja. You guys, fajas are funny. Um, I don't have my faja on today. I was waiting to get my um, drain out before I started to wear my faja, because, who wants to put this compression garment all the way on, with drains going on? Not this girl. Those suckers, you got to pull them on to get them on. So I'm like, no, no, no. So the compression garments are important because they do help with the swelling. They help with all of that. And so, oh, hi. Thanks, War Kittens. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm feeling really, really good. And it's really important to listen to our bodies, right? I mean, my best friend keeps telling me, don't do too much too fast, because she knows how I am. And I think it was on Friday, I told my husband I was going to run to the grocery store. I don't technically think I'm supposed to drive yet, but I did, because it's not that far from my house. And I was fine. I drove to the store. I got out. I was there probably a half an hour, maybe. And I was so exhausted and so sore by the time I got home. I knew then that I had overdone it, that I had done too much. So right now, I'm just going to take it easy and do a little bit each day. And my middle grandson graduates on the 17th of May. I'm looking forward to that. We have family coming in for the graduation. And so I'm really looking forward to that. Some of these family haven't seen me since I had my weight loss surgery. They haven't seen me. Some of this family hasn't seen me since July of 2022. And I was going to put up, hold on a second and let me see if I can put up an image for you guys. Hold on a second here. Let me see if I can give you an idea. I just did this morning. So that's a picture of me at the top at my highest weight. And that was in July of 2022 at a family reunion that we had. So you guys, and though, like I said, those of you that have followed me on Kristen Behind the Crime Door, you knew me at that weight. And yeah, I mean, the bottom pictures, this one on the left was this past Saturday. My grandson who's graduating, it was his senior prom, and we had ran over to their house for pictures. And so that's a picture of me outside their house. And then the picture on the right is me before I went in to have surgery. I think it was the Friday before I had my surgery done. So yeah, it gives you an idea of where I was on this journey, where I've come from. And I just wanted to share a little bit with everybody and let everybody see how things happen with getting the surgery approved, getting, it's such an emotional roller coaster when you're trying to navigate through all of this. And all I can tell you is, just hang in there and, advocate for yourself. You have to advocate for yourself in healthcare these days. You have to be vocal. You have to tell them what you want, and, and stand firm with it. I guess that's about all I can say. Eating healthy, working out, it's all what I'm about these days. Like I said, food is not what it used to be for me. I eat just to survive now. And yeah, there's times when, somebody says, oh, we're going to have this kind of a party, or we're going to have this. And it's nice to go and have a bite of something. But I don't look at it in the same way as I did where I was constantly feeding the depression. I was constantly feeding everything that was wrong with me. I was constantly feeding all the holes that I was trying to fill with food and make food. I thought food was helping me get through all the emotional stuff, and it wasn't. And so once I got my hands wrapped around that, then things started to fall into place for me. But yeah, I'm a size 6 for those that are curious. And I don't need to lose another pound. If I do, I do. I think my body will decide where it wants to fall. At some point, I will probably talk to my doctor again about Mounjaro, although she told me that at this point in time, she would like to just see me stay on it to see how I do. My insurance covers it, so it's not a $1,300 hit a month that it would be if you didn't have insurance. I pay $70 a month for mine, which is still a lot, but what it has afforded me, I've had no side effects from it that I know of any kind, except nausea that first day and a half of taking it. And then after you get used to that milligram strength that you're taking, that goes away. Then when they up it to the next milligram strength, that comes back. So yeah. Yeah, it is not easy to advocate for yourself. Absolutely. But, we have to, and a lot of people in the medical field make it difficult for us to. And that's why I say whenever you're thinking about doing something like a bariatric surgery or even something like I just went through, that's such a huge undertaking. What the surgery I had was major, and you have a wound that goes from hip to hip is major, and you open yourself to infection and all kinds of things. So you have to be comfortable with who's doing it and who's going to be, taking care of you. But you still have to, like I say, interview them as if it was a job interview. I still feel that way about doctors. I don't just take doctors' words for anything. It's about how they present themselves and a lot of things with me when it comes to doctors, and you certainly have to feel comfortable with them. But I got lucky. I got in with an amazing surgical group, and all the surgeons in that group are very, very good. Now, the next thing that I'm going to be looking at is the girls. The girls need some help in the up department because for the first time in my life, they deflated. The G cup that I used to have is now possibly a BC cup. So yeah, it's, but I have a massive amount of extra skin here underneath of my arms. And this is already starting to bother me because it rubs and gets chafed and all of that. So I'm going to start documenting that. So hopefully I can get a breast reduction and get that covered. And that'll be something that I will probably do next year. Cause I'm like on the 1-year plan here. It's like, I want to recover well from this. And, before I think about doing anything else, but, I'm very blessed. I feel absolutely blessed to be where I'm at. I know that. And one of the things that I want to say before I get off of here is I am so tired of hearing people on the internet, and whether it be TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or wherever, when they say things like, oh, I lost 200 pounds without surgery. Like they make it sound like having surgery, bariatric surgery, is an easy way out. It is the hardest thing you will ever, ever do. Trust me. When They physically alter your insides and make you a small tummy. I can only eat about 5 ounces of food at a sitting. If you don't know what 5 ounces of food is, take the time today and measure out 5 ounces of food and see how much that is. It is a big deal. So I really get upset. I'm proud of people who can do it without having to have surgery. I'm proud of that. I think that's wonderful. But obesity in this country and in this world is a disease. And the medical community is finally on board with that. And they're finally realizing it, that it is a disease and that we need to stop shaming people for it. I am so tired of people treating people differently because of their weight. I can tell you, you would not believe how differently I'm treated today versus what I was treated 2 years ago as the lady that you see sitting up there in those pictures. I wasn't even seen when I was 400 pounds. People didn't listen to me when I was 400 pounds. If I was out in public or whatever, people would just push you out of the way or bump into you and knock you around like you weren't even there, even in a wheelchair, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I have people tripping over themselves to help me, open doors for me, smile at me, talk to me. I mean, it's just no matter where I'm at, whether it's the gas station, the grocery store, if I'm out just shopping, if I'm at a concert. My husband noticed it when we went to a concert for our anniversary in March. He's like, girl, they are watching you. And I just laughed. So it's, we are treated differently because of our size. And it's not fair. It's not right. People need to check themselves at the door and stop treating people like that. Because in my opinion, if you honestly think that people are happy being 400 pounds, you're wrong. People aren't happy being 400 pounds. Do people get into ruts and stuck into a situation and unable to figure out on their own how to get out? Yes. Do they need help? Yes. That's where I would like to come in. If telling my story and my journey helps just one person figure out how to turn the train around and get it going back uphill instead of downhill crashing, then that is absolutely, I've done my part, and that makes me happy. Hey, Rescue, how are you, my dear? I hope you are doing well. Are you home yet? Or are you still enjoying the sun? But yeah, I just, like I said, I wanted to hop on, and Loki and I were just kind of hanging out, and I thought, you know what? I haven't been on in forever, and I really need to start doing something with my Twisted Hippie channel. And so I decided that I would. You guys can see that I have all of my critters are here around me, and I'm super happy about that. I took care of all of them 2 weeks ago before I went in for surgery, so nobody would have to care for them for me. And I made sure that they were all fed and everything. And my oldest grandson, he loves reptiles, and not so much the arachnids, but he loves the reptiles. So he came and took care of Pistachio for me, my veiled chameleon that's right back here. And one of these days I will be doing a video for you guys with him and showing him to you. But yeah, I'm going to hop off here and go make me some lunch. I'm starting to feel a little bit hungry. And so I just realized that I probably should eat something. So I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Monday, and be safe out there. Thanks for watching, everyone.